YouTube, what is up? Welcome to the video. Friday morning, leg day today, doing one of the greatest things on earth. That is sipping on some caffeine, sitting in a nice heated car, listening to some music, easing into it, getting revved up. I know Brady, shout out Brady, I know he's a big fan of this. It's the best thing to do. I've done this forever, whatever setting I'm in. When I was in college, I would just sit in the locker room forever, drink on the caffeine, let it tingle, and then I'll go lift. I always like taking the time. It's a good feeling. You drink the caffeine, you let it ease into you, you get your mind right, sit in the car. It's cold out now, so the heater, it's nice. But today's session, leg day today, third one of the week, which is pretty dense, pretty naughty, but I'm trying to hit a heavy squat in a couple weeks. And so doing a higher frequency, you know, no one's telling me to do this. I plan this out myself, and I think kind of the importance of that and the importance of training and doing it for yourself. I think that's where you succeed, when you do it for you instead of thinking about all these external motivations. Like, you know, a lot of people get in the gym because something bad happened. Maybe someone broke up with them, someone wronged them. They want to be externally motivated and get right. Maybe that might serve as motivation early on, but eventually that will wean. And I think for me, I started lifting not because any external. I just started lifting because it looked cool. My brothers did it, so I was always internally motivated. So I think the biggest thing, like with training, obviously having that internal motivation is going to push you in the long run, because you can't always rely on motivation to do something. But also the biggest thing, I think, when you train for yourself, you also train a lot harder, because, you know, a lot of times if you're externally motivated, then you rely on that. Maybe you have a sick training session when you're fired up, music's blaring, the motivation's hitting right, but then the next day you're not feeling real motivated, you just go in and you kind of half-ass it. I think that's common when you're just externally motivated. When you're internally, when you do it for you, you know, you have set standards and you hold that standard, you work a lot harder because your standard is so high. Every time you come in, you're going to train hard. That's just the norm. That's just what you do. Like, it's not like even when you're feeling rough, you're still going to train as hard as you can to that capacity. And I think that's just the importance of training for yourself, not overthinking the small little variables, and just being internally motivated. Like, having that skill of pushing yourself repeatedly day in and day out, you know, doing it for a day is easy, doing it for a week's easy, a month, doing it for years. That's the importance of it, is just stacking it, but just being internally motivated and having that commitment and that standard to push yourself each time, even if you're not feeling great. Just doing the small things and not relying on that external motivation. So I think it's kind of the main takeaway. I was thinking of, like, you know, with my training journey, it's always, you know, I've never been externally motivated. Like, you see on Instagram or TikTok, always, oh, she broke up with me, stuff like that, which I know a lot of young people do. No hate on that, but I think having those long-term goals and achieving stuff is just, you know, you have a goal, you set out, like, I want to squat some heavy weight. I'm squatting 3 days a week. You know, I trust in my plan. I trust in the process. I'll adjust as needed, but that's the plan for now, and I'm gonna go all out on that. And, you know, whereas if maybe I didn't rely on myself and I was relying on someone else to push me, then, you know, I want to be achieving stuff. So you gotta be internally driven. Working out's hard, you know, pushing yourself's hard, but once you get used to that, once you set that standard, you know what it feels like to train hard, and that's just a norm. And then you crave that each time. And then one of the best and worst feelings is when you have that standard and when you don't live up to it, just that feeling that leaves inside of you. You feel horrible, you feel bad, you can't sleep, you're pissed off because you're like, I didn't live up to my standard. So I think that's the most important thing, you know, training for yourself, because it pushes you in the long run harder. It sets a standard for how hard you're gonna train, and then you're gonna meet that standard each time. When you don't meet that standard, it pisses you off and you train even harder. But, you know, I think a lot of times people, some days they train hard, some days they don't. I think you just have to have a standard and train hard no matter what. Obviously, there's some days you feel bad, but, like, again, training to the level you're at with that intensity, holding yourself to that standard. So we'll get into the session, we'll get after it. Do it for you, train hard, get after it, let's go. All right, we're back in the gym, getting ready for the squat day. I've shown it before, but I'm a big journal guy, so tracking the workouts, I always put, if you can see, I always put the date at the top. It might be reverse, mirror mode, and I put the warm-up, sets and reps. Whatever you gotta do to track it, just make sure you're tracking workouts. Use a notebook, use an app, write on your phone, just whatever you can, because, you know, for example, yesterday when I was doing incline cable flies, like a random movement, you're not gonna, like,
you don't really care about the weight on that. You're not gonna remember that, it's just a random movement. Your squats or benches, you're always gonna remember just in your head, but incline cable flies, for example, the prior week I did 65, and I did 3 sets. First set I got 10, second set I got 10, third set I got 9. This past week, I did incline cable flies. I did 65. And both times I went to failure, I could only get 10. Second set, I could only get 10. Third set, I could only get 9. So I matched what I got the previous week. But what I did this week to have a little bit of progressive overload, I then did a rest pause in my last set, and I got 3 extra sets. So I did 20-second rest, 3 extra reps. So just having those notes in there, just so you can progressively overload. Some movements you're gonna be able to add 5 pounds a week at the same amount of reps. Boom, progressive overload. Some, you're not gonna be able to add weight, and if you add weight, you might have to drop reps. So just finding ways, tracking your things, and it's so easy to have one of these in your backpack. And I'm a big writer. If you're a big writer, it's fun, like scribbling down your notes in between. But today's session, give me lower body, so start with a warm up. 3 movements, I was like doing some sort of movement prep to get the body warmed, and then we'll do trap bar jumps today, which I'm adding back in. Weighted jumps are so fun to do. I'll show those. Power first, really prime. We'll do like 6 sets of 3 there, and then we'll do our squats. I got a 6x6 there, which will be a naughty today, and then we'll do RDLs, hand supported Bulgarians, and then finish with some accessory work, calves, and maybe something else. But for the most part, give me a dense session, give me a fun session, but track your workouts, find ways to track it, because you can always make subtle progress there. And it's also nice to have these to look back on like a year, 2 years from now, like, oh, I used to do that, now I'm doing that. It's motivating. So track your workouts, let's get on the left. All right, I always start with a warm up. I go TKEs. Now this is great for warming up your knees, especially if you're squatting. You grab a heavy freaking band, you just put it around the back of your knee, step out, align your toe with the mid part of your foot, and then just extend and squeeze. Really drive the knee forward, and I think about squeezing your quad. These I do, like, they're obviously good for knee, like your VMO, but man, I like mentally have to do this before I squat to just get ready. So I'll do 15 each side here. All right, so I'll go 15. Yeah, to squeeze that quad. So if you have like tight knees ever before a squat session, these help a lot. These are nice. Really loosen those up, kind of pump up the quads a little bit. Get a nice heavy band too. Like step back, get that tension, and yeah, let it rip. All right, the second move I always do is a Copenhagen plank. So this warm up like your adductors, your hips. This, and also it's good prehab. So you sit up on a bench, come up in the side plank position, and then think about pulling your feet together, holding that. Let's go 20 seconds each side. This is more advanced version, and I'll show you kind of a regress one you can do. But yeah, just 20 seconds, hold it. Good prehab, get you warmed up. I need to switch sides. Awesome. If that version's too hard, you could do where you just bring your knee up and you do like a clamshell. So you have your knee on the bench, you set up, same thing, you bring your knee. That's a little less intense if the long version's a little harder, but great for your adductors, especially warm up your hips. Go 20 seconds each side. This move I do before, just single leg glute bridge. So I'll put one leg up straight in the air. I think about pushing my hips to the air and squeezing the old glutes. This really warms up your glutes, hamstrings. Get the old posterior chain fired up, ready to roll. So I'll go 10 each side here. Really squeeze. Hell yeah. And I'll stroll through that dose times. It takes like 5 to 7 minutes, but it gets you feeling good. So I'll go through one more time. All right, we'll get started with the first move. So I'm doing trap bar jumps today. These are freaking, I haven't done these in a while. They're so fun to do. You load up some weight and you just jump as high as you can. So 2 big things with these. One, if you struggle with Olympic lifts or you haven't learned how to Olympic lift and they're a little challenging for you, you can do weighted jumps, barbell jumps, trapdoor jumps, and get some good power output there. And two, the way you load them, generally like 20 to 30% of like your squat max. So example, my squat max like 530, so I'm using 30% on the trap bar, which is 155. Generally that's like the best percentage-wise for it for power, and then anywhere between 3 to 5 reps for like, hell, you can do anywhere between like 3 to 10 sets if you wanted to, but it's really just about max output. So with these, you can go two ways with the trap bar. You could start here and then drop down and then come up and get that counter movement, or how I'm gonna do them today, I'm just gonna start from a dead stop and then go. So these are freaking awesome though. And I'm gonna do 6 sets of 3 a day, take about a minute and a half in between each. Let me adjust the camera too so you can actually see it. All right, let's rip. Power, baby, that's what we're all about, power. Oh yeah, make the bar rattle. All right, so I'm taking like a minute and a half in between each set. Remember, power, Olympic lifts, jumps, it's max intent. So you're going, the reps are lower because you want to maintain that power. So just going 3 reps here. I'm thinking ripping, jumping as high as I can, repeating that 3 times, and then resting to make sure I can stimulate that, get that again for 6 full sets. So trap bar jumps, awesome. Barbell jumps, awesome. Implement these if Olympic lifts are hard, or even if you Olympic lift, like I'm Olympic lifting 2 days a week and then doing this once a week. Power shit, it's fun, man. Get powerful. It'll help you too with your squats and everything. It gets you primed up. We'll go set 2 here, let's rip it. So you set up from the ground here, big rip. Oh yeah. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm now working with ABYL, which is the clothes I'm wearing now. Shorts, socks, if you can see them, and then the tank top right here. So if you watch any of my videos, you know I wear a tank top in every single video. I think that they're a new kind of like gym trend, kind of like how stringers were. I think April was when I started seeing people wear them. That's when I started wearing them. And I've worn them before this from Alpha Elite and Gymshark, which had awesome ones. And I'm not even saying this just because I work with ABYL now, but this is the best one because the Alpha Elite ones were nice and tight, but they're a little too short. And then the Gymshark ones are like looser, which I didn't like. This one is like the perfect, it's tight, but it's longer. But it's also like durable, if that makes sense. So instead of like the traditional ones you can buy from like a Target or something that rip in two times a wear, and it's very durable. So yeah, if you're interested, I have a code now. It's code Dylan, ABYL. But I do actually really love the clothing, really am. And that's what I'm something big on, is pushing stuff that I actually would wear. And so I love their stuff. Wearing their short socks, tanks. Yeah, so if you're interested in these, I wear these every day. They're the most comfortable things. So figured I'd plug that and mention that I'm working with them now. We'll go set 3 here. Whew. All right, last warm-up set. Basically, when I warm up sets, like the goal is 425, so 6x6. People ask how I warm up. I think it's individualized to you. I usually just do a plate for a couple reps, 2 plates for a couple reps, 3 plates for a couple reps, 3 1/4 for maybe a rep, and then depending if it's like 6+ reps, then I might just get straight into it. But you know, if it's a triple, double, single, then I'll keep progressively building up. But it's kind of just based off feel. Just progressively build up, see how the weight feels. If you feel really good and you feel like you can get into it, then get into it. But just finish that warm-up set, just did a single 405, see how I feel. Now, 425, 6x6, 80%, give you a dense one, but let's freaking go. All right, we'll get into set 1 here. I'm gonna film the first and 6 reps, see how they look in comparison once the fatigue catches in. But basically, before squats, I have to get so psyched up. Usually I stand behind the bar for like a couple minutes, get revved up to the music. So, got some chop suey in the earbuds right now. That's a good thing about having a camera too. Now I can listen to music while filming instead of using my iPhone. So, let's freaking get started. Set 1, 6 reps here. Let's bury it, baby. All right, good first set. All right, we'll go set 6 here, last set. They've been a little dense, but they've been fun, as squatting always is. This is my go-to pre-squat routine. I sit me on the bar, put the belt on the second notch, and then I literally will stand here until the song drops, whatever I'm listening to. Right now I got, let's see what we're going with. Ooh, okay, just a classic Everlong. We'll go Everlong for the last set. So basically, guys, for the rest periods, I just go when I feel ready. So that's how I dictate it. Basically, when the song drops. Let's go last set, baby. 60. Fuck. Hell yeah. 6 sets. Done. Let's go. All right, warming up for RDLs. Go 3x6 here. Probably go 425. But one thing I would say in the videos I talk about a lot, using straps on RDLs, super important. I mean, if you think your grip's stronger than your hamstrings, like you don't need straps, I promise you, your hamstrings are a million times stronger. So don't limit yourself. Straps are really good to use, especially for RDLs, deadlifts, heavy rows, stuff like that where grip is a limiting factor. Because then, you know, if you're taking grip out of the, you're just gonna limit yourself. And you can train your grip with other stuff. So why do it on RDLs when you can grow some freaking strong hammies by just getting one of these suckers and wrapping them around? So I'm just warming up here. Build up to 425, do a couple sets, 3x6 there. Nice dense training day. Also, if you kind of question about your RDL setup, a couple big things I like to think. Really, so I bring the bar out, I think slight bend in the knees, and that bend in the knees I'm just gonna maintain throughout. It's not gonna get any bigger or smaller as I go. And I'm thinking about pulling my shoulder blades back, big chest, and then from here, just keep the bar nice and close, pushing, come that mid shin height, and then come back up. So really holding that upper back nice and strong, pushing, and then squeezing back. Trying to come up fast, squeezing those hamstrings. So I know RDLs can be kind of a frustrating move. Maybe you feel a lot in your lower back, which you are going to feel in your lower back because it's training your lower back, but there's a difference between like uncomfortable and the muscle actually being worked. Also, the sun is nice and hot in the face, but yeah, if you struggle with RDLs, a couple cues, slight bend in the knee, think about keeping that bar nice and close, and then really pulling those shoulder blades back has always helped for me. All right, we'll get the first working set here. 425, 3x6. Also, I throw a belt on because a little core stability. I like it a lot, but we got straps here. Go nice and freaking heavy. Load up on your RDLs. It's a compound movement. Don't have to treat it as an accessory. Let's freaking rip it. Oh, strap. Restrap. Oh, I'm overstrapped. Come on, strap. Embarrassing me. All right, we're strapped up, fellas. Let's go. Come on. Ooh. Whew. Dense. All right, let's get it. Set 3. Got a little drop kick Murphy's rolling. Let's freaking go. When I look better to your size. I can't sing lyrics. I have so bad lyrics. Two more. Come on. Whew. Set 3 done. Also, I'm not just talking to myself for the mic. I do talk to myself when I live. I'm a weird guy. I mean, you gotta fire yourself up sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta, let's freaking go, lock in. So I don't know if you hear that, but I do talk, well, I talk to myself a lot, but sometimes, you know, you gotta dig in. But, ooh, that's pretty rough. 3x6 done there. We got one more, well, 2 more moves, but one more main move. I told you it's a dense session. We squatted, we RDL'd. Now we get to do maybe the hardest movement I do, or the most daunting, hand-supported Bulgarian split squats. Oh man, I'm already dreading them. Well, let's go. All right, warming up for hell, the hardest movement in the world, but I told you it's gonna be a dense and a naughty session, and it's been dense. This is when we get naughty. These suck, but they're great for your legs. I mean, yeah, you gotta do hard stuff. So these are, I always do this on Fridays after I squat and RDL, and it's very daunting, but I just gotta do 3 sets. Just gotta do 1 set actually, and then just gotta do it again and again. You know, I'll get through it, but warming up here, essentially if you're interested in doing these, they're called Hatfield or hand supported. So what I do, I use these little handles, these little pegs you can put it, but you can also do a barbell and put J-cups on the other side so the barbell's pulling that way. You wouldn't wanna have it in the front because you'll pull the barbell off, but something where it won't move because you don't wanna be shaking around. And then you just set up in a regular Bulgarian split squat, set up with your foot in the back, and then just from there, the hand support, obviously, it gives you assistance on the way up. 1, it takes out stability, but 2, you can obviously overload the movement, so you can go heavier than a traditional barbell. So we'll go warm up set here, just get a feel for it. Obviously with these 2, you wanna make sure your setup's good before you start loading it. Oh yeah, I'll just get 2 each leg, kinda get a feel for it, but the stretch you get in these are next level. I mean, if you want a quad pump, I mean, if you want to feel like you're about to cry at the end of a set, I'm already dreading it, but we'll get into it. I think I'm gonna do sets of 6. We'll see weight-wise, maybe like 4 or something, but I'll show you. I'll figure it out once I get the first set. All right, I'm hitting beyond this, but I got 430. I got 4 plates. I think the bar weighs 70, so it's 430. We're gonna go 6s here. That's a common theme throughout today's session. 6s on squats, RDLs, hand-supported reverse lunges, or hand-supported Bulgarians. Also, I changed the music vibe. I'm now going Big X the Plug. That's one thing about this gym. Dopest music in the world. There's always good music on, and a lot of the times what I end up doing, kind of whatever the theme is, I'll just put on my earbuds. As you can probably hear in the background, it's rap. I'll put on my earbuds and just listen to it louder. This is where all the music's always good here. So, all right, let's freaking go. 6s each leg, just 3 sets. Oh yeah. Come on. Come on. God. Oh man, I'm not trying to be too dramatic. Oh my God, those always suck. Oh man, it feels like your quads are gonna pop. Oh. All right, one done. One done, that's all we gotta think about. 2 more, let's go, we got this. All right, the time has come. It's set 3, it's the last set. Let's fucking go. All right, hype songwriter, Miss Jackson. Let's go. Feed me. Come on. Halfway. 6 more, let's go. Oh my God, literally one of the greatest feelings on earth. Oh my gosh. Oh. Finishing the last set after squatting, RDLing, lunging, slaying that dragon. Not sound dramatic, but it's awesome. And that, doing that and then getting that feeling after of completion where it's like, that's fucking awesome, I want to do it again. And then you do it again the next day. And then you do it for a week. And then you do it for a month. And then you do it for a year. And what do you know? The gains are just flying in because you just love the process. So yeah, it sucks, it's daunting. You know, you don't want to do it, but you do it anyways. That's where you win. That's just where you win. But we're done with that. I'm just gonna finish with some calf raises. I'll bring you along, show you my calf raise setup. But as far as the meat and potatoes, they are done, they are dusted, they are out of here until next Monday. Let's fucking go. The last move, belt. We're gonna use the belt squat for calf raises. This is an awesome variation if you have a belt squat. It's freaking lethal on the old calf. So nice little standing calf raise because you get the hand support there, but you can really milk it. The one thing with calf raises, which actually thanks to Dr. Mike, I always thought that the calf raise, the most important was coming up, but it's the bottom part. So you really want to milk that. So that's what I try doing is I really try to milk, think about putting my heel to the ground, milk that for like 2 seconds and then driving up on the toe. So I'll put 4 to 5 sets, see whatever's sufficient in that 10 to 15 range, but kind of my setup, I hold on and get a big stretch, let's roll. And you get a nice behind view, because this is the best way to see a calf raise. Fucking oh, these are offset. There we go. All right, so toes, heels, think heels to ground, milk that, hold it for like 2 seconds, and then drive up on those toes. Big stretch, squeeze at the top. Just try to get those half reps where you hold it at the bottom. Oh man. Ooh. Oh man. God damn it, I'm doing this shit. Session
complete. I say it all the time because it's so freaking true. You never regret the work. I mean, you never will. Even if you feel like shit, it was a shitty session, you still walk out there with like, all right, I did it. And that's why I go back to kind of how I started this video, doing it for you, because when you do it for you and you build that internal drive and you set that standard and you have the standard, then even if you feel like shit, as long as you go in and you give 100% of what you can that day, that's all that matters. You're always gonna be proud of that. Always, if you're sick, if you're injured, obviously that's different. But when you're, able to do it and you're, maybe not feeling it, but you go in and do it anyways, that's the beauty of it. That's where we freaking win. That's where we win right there, is doing that stuff. But really, it just comes down to that. Setting your standard, having a standard that you can uphold, each day of the week, because anyone can come in, work hard for a day. Can they do it for a week? Can they do it for a month? Can they do it for a decade? That is where you separate yourself. That's where you make the progress. And I don't say it like, maybe this whole video I'm acting like, I mess up all the time. I have days where I feel like shit. I don't want to do it. But I think because I've been just always done it for myself, I just know what my standard is. And I know I'm just so used to pushing myself. And like, that's just the norm for me. Like, I know how I should be pushing, how I should be feeling. And not that it happens, but if there were days where I didn't feel like I pushed myself, I would be so pissed off. And that is not worth it. What is worth it is pushing yourself, even if it's just a little bit of something. Obviously a holiday season now, which hopefully everyone's enjoying. I'm sure a lot of people are busy, but you can still work hard and have a great holiday season. Obviously time in the gym is a reflection of working out. You can get in, get out. I mean, I like spending a lot of time. If you're like me and you love spending time in the gym, personally, I love being in the gym. I spend all day in here. It's what I love to do. But again, like holiday season, get after it still. But yeah, great session. I'm always fired up after a session because you get it in. That's all that freaking matters. Get another day in, get another freaking day stacked. Just gives you one step closer to a goal. One step closer, that's what we're looking for. But I appreciate everyone watching. Support means the world. I'll see you in the next one. Let's go.